Welcome back! If you've been following along, you're already one step closer to securing your dream home. In our last video, we talked about the Fact Finder form and how crucial it is to fill it out accurately. Now, in this third video, we're diving into a key piece of the puzzle: understanding your income documentation and what exactly you need to provide for a smooth home loan approval. Ever wondered what documents you'll need to prove your income? Whether you're a salaried employee or a self-employed business owner, getting the right income evidence in front of the lender is essential. In this video, Amit will show you the exact income documents needed to speed up your loan approval and avoid unnecessary delays. Stay tuned, this is a game changer. For those of you who don't know Amit yet, he's the go-to expert when it comes to helping first-time home buyers like you. He's known for securing homes with minimal deposit and the fastest approval time, without the added cost of lenders' mortgage insurance, saving you thousands. In the last 15 years, Amit has helped hundreds of first home buyers secure their dream homes, just like you. Don't just take our word for it. We're proud to have almost 200 5-star reviews on Google. Let's start with salaried employee or job holders. What documents you'll need to prove your income? In simple terms, a salaried employee or job holder is someone who works for an employer and gets paid under a tax file number, TFN. Now, let me briefly explain the three main types of employment. Full-time employment is where someone works an average 38 per week and is entitled to sick and annual leave. Part-time employment is where someone works a fixed number of hours, say 20 hours per week, but the minimum guaranteed work hours by the employer is less than 38 hours. Also entitled to sick and annual leave. Casual employment is where someone works irregular hours per week. In some cases, the hours may be regular, but the employer does not guarantee any minimum work hours and is not entitled to any sick or annual leave. If you are an employee or job holder, you will need to provide at least 2 or more of the following documents. You do not need to send us all of these documents. We will let you know exactly what we need from you. Income document 1. 2 most recent and consecutive payslips. If you've recently been employed and don't yet have a payslip, that's perfectly fine. In that case, just send us a copy of your employment contract. Payslips must be the 2 most recent and consecutive. For example, let's say you get paid monthly and today is March 20th. You should send us the payslips for January and December. If you only send us the January payslip, that's not enough. We need 2. If you send January and November, they're not consecutive, so that won't work either. And if you send December and November, they're not the most recent. The only combination that meets all 3 requirements, 2 payslips, consecutive, and most recent, is January and December. That's the correct set. Another important thing to note is that if you are on maternity leave, receiving workers' compensation payments, or facing any other unpaid leave or involuntary deductions, please let us know. Similarly, if you receive a bonus from your employer or have a second job, it's crucial to share this information, as it could significantly increase your borrowing capacity. Keeping us informed about these details helps ensure we can accurately assess your financial situation and potentially secure you a higher loan amount. Income document 2. 3 months of bank transactions showing your salary credits. This is the bank account where your salary is deposited, and we need 3 months of bank transactions of this account, not a bank statement. There's a slight difference between bank account transactions and bank account statements. Bank statements are provided by your bank at regular intervals, like every 3 or 6 months, and they're usually sent via post or email based on your communication preferences. Bank transactions, on the other hand, are something you generate yourself by logging into your online banking portal. Now that we've cleared that up, here are some common mistakes to avoid when sending your bank transactions. 1. It must be recent and not older than 7 days. 2. It must have the account holder's name. Here's an example where the account holder's name is missing. In this case, you'll need to send us an old bank statement that includes the name. 3. It must be in PDF format. Other formats like Excel or Word documents are not acceptable. 4. It must be unfiltered. Here's an example where the client has applied a filter with a keyword. This is not acceptable, as we need to see all the transactions. 5. It must be unaltered. No marks, highlights, or edits should be made to the document. It should be exactly as it appears in your bank portal. 6. It must have a balance column. Here's an example where the bank transaction only shows debit and credit columns, but it's missing the balance column, which makes it unacceptable. Now, in general, bank transactions from CBA and NAB usually contain the balance column, so that's usually not an issue. However, we most often see problems when bank transactions are generated from Westpac, ANZ, or other smaller banks. If you bank with Westpac, ANZ, or other smaller banks, you may face issues with missing balance columns. Here's how to ensure you get it right. 1. Log in to internet banking on a desktop or laptop. This won't work on mobile. 2. Search for the transactions for the required period. 3. Right-click on the page, select Print, and choose a PDF printer. 4. Save it as a PDF and check that the balance column is now included. Here's an important tip. Do not generate your bank transactions by simply clicking on the built-in options or buttons in internet banking. Income Document 3, Income Statement, also known as a PAYG summary in the past. This document summarizes all the money you've received to date from your employer, and it's reported in real time to the ATO. If you have multiple jobs, you'll have multiple income statements, one for each employer. You can download a copy of your income statement by visiting the ATO portal or your MyGov account, or ask your tax accountant. Here's an example of an income statement. It clearly says Income Statement at the top. It must show your name clearly at the top right-hand corner of the document. It must be for the period we've requested. For example, if we've asked for the income statement for the financial year 24 to 25, you must provide the document for that year. Providing a statement for a different financial year won't be helpful. Income Document 4, Individual Tax Return, also known as ITR for short. Everyone in Australia must file their tax return annually, even if you don't have any income. If you don't have income, you can either file with NIL income or indicate that a return is not necessary. Here's an example of individual tax return. It clearly says Individual Tax Return in the middle of the page. If we've requested the individual tax return for the financial year 23-24, you need to provide the document for that year. Any other financial year will not work. You can download a copy of your individual tax return by visiting the ATO portal or your MyGov account, or ask your tax accountant. Income Document 5, Notice of Assessment, also known as NOAA for short. This is the document you receive from the ATO after filing your individual tax return. It contains a summary of your taxable income and the tax you are required to pay. Everyone in Australia must file their tax return annually, even if you don't have any income. If you don't have income, you can either file with NIL income or indicate that a return is not necessary. Once you submit your tax return, the ATO typically issues a Notice of Assessment per financial year within 14 days, regardless of how many jobs or sources of income you have. You can download a copy of your Notice of Assessment by visiting the ATO portal or your MyGov account, or ask your tax accountant. Here's an example of a Notice of Assessment. It clearly says Notice of Assessment in the middle of the page. It must be for the period we've requested. For example, if we've requested the Notice of Assessment for the financial year 23 to 24, you need to provide the document for that year. Any other financial year will not work. Income Document 6, Employer Letter. Sometimes we may need to ask for an employment letter from your employer, and we'll let you know if this is required. This generally happens when there's a mismatch of information or when we need additional clarifications. For example, if you're a full-time employee and your payslip doesn't show your annual leave or sick leave entitlements, or if you're a part-time employee and your payslip doesn't mention your minimum employment hours, we may request an employment letter to clarify these details. Here's what your employment letter should include when requested. 1. Your full name and job title or position. 2. Employment start date. 3. Employment type, whether you're full-time, part-time or casual. 4. Annual base salary or hourly rate excluding superannuation. 5. If part-time employed, base or minimum working hours per working periods. The letter must be on your company's letterhead and should include a delegate's signature and date. 7. It must confirm any other clarification we've requested, such as leave entitlements or pay mismatch. By ensuring the letter includes all the required details, we can move forward smoothly. Income Document 7, Employment Contract or Offer Letter. Sometimes we may need to ask for your employment contract, and we'll let you know if this is required. This usually happens if you've recently started your job and don't yet have any payslips, or if we need additional clarifications about your employment details. When we ask for your employment contract, please ensure the following. 1. Send the full contract, including all pages. We need the entire document. 2. The contract must be signed and dated by both you and your employer. 3. It must not contain any markups or highlights. By providing the complete and correct employment contract, we can ensure home loan approval is processed quickly. Income document 7. Accountant letter. If you have a company or ABN registered under your name, and if income from this business is not being used for loan assessment, we will need a letter from your accountant to clarify the status of your business or other aspects, including details like your business profit or trading status. We will let you know and provide clear instructions on what needs to be included in the letter. There you have it. Those are the typical documents we may need from you if you are an employee or a job holder. As mentioned earlier, you don't need to send us all of these documents. We will let you know exactly which ones are required, and you can send them accordingly. At Mortgage Empire, we're here to make every step as easy and stress-free as possible. If you're ready to start your home loan journey or need more information, reach out to us today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to helping you secure your dream home. Happy house hunting!